UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, Executive Director of UN, women and distinguished guests. Today we are launching a campaign called He for She. I am reaching out to you because we need your help. We want to end gender inequality, and to do this we need everyone involved. This campaign is the first of its kind, and we want to try and galvanize as many men and boys as possible to become advocates for change. We don't just want to talk about it, we want to try and make sure that it is tangible. I was appointed as Goodwill Ambassador 6 months ago, and the more that I've spoken about feminism, the more that I've realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there's one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. For the record, feminism by definition is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused for being called too bossy for wanting to direct the plays that we put on for our parents. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by certain elements of the media. When at 15, my girlfriends dropped out of their beloved sports teams because they did not want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings or I decided that I was a feminist, which seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminists. Apparently, I am among the ranks of women whose expressions are seen as too strong, too aggressive, isolating, anti-men, unattractive even. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved in my behalf in the decisions and policies that will affect my life. I think it is right that socially I am afforded the same respect as men. But sadly, I consider there is no one country in the world where all women can expect to receive these rights. No country has yet achieved total gender equality. These rights I consider to be human rights, but I am of the lucky ones. My life is a sheer privilege because my parents did not choose to love me any less because I was born a daughter. My school did not limit me because I was a girl. My mentors did not assume that I would go less far because I might give birth to a child one day. These influences were the gender inequality ambassadors that have made me who I am today. They may not know it, but they are the inadvertent feminists who are changing the world today. We need more of those. And if you still hate the word, it is not the word that is important, but the idea and the ambition behind it. Because not all women have received the same rights as I have. In fact, statistically, very few have been. No. Oh, in 1997, Hillary Clinton gave a famous speech in Beijing about women's rights. Sadly, many of the things that she wanted to change are still true today, but what stood out to me the most was that less than 30% of the audience were male. How can we affect a change in the world when only less than half is invited to join the conversation or feel comfortable? Jen, no, men, this is your issue too. I've seen men suffering from mental illness, unable to ask for help, for fear they will be seen as less of a man. In fact, in the UK, suicide is the biggest killer of men between the ages of 20 to 49, eclipsing road accidents, cancer, and coronary heart disease. I've seen men made fragile and insecure by a distorted sense of what constitutes male success. Men don't have the benefits of equality either. It is time that we all perceive gender based on a spectrum, instead of two sets of opposing ideals. If we stop defining each other by what we are not and start defining ourselves by who we are, then we can all become freer. It is all about freedom. And men, I encourage you to uphold this mantle so that your daughters and sisters and mothers can all become freer and free from prejudice. And men, I encourage you to uphold this mantle so that your sons have permission to be human and vulnerable as well. Reclaim those parts of themselves that they have lost, and in doing so, be a truer and more complete version of themselves. Now you might be thinking, who is this Harry Potter girl, and why is she even speaking at the UN? And that's a really good question. I've been asking myself the same thing. But all I know is that I care about this problem, and I want to see it made better. And having seen what I've seen and given the chance, I feel it is my responsibility to say something. Statesman Edmund Burke said, "All that is needed for the forces of evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing." In my nervousness for this speech and in my moments of doubt, I have firmly told myself, if not me, who? If not now, when? If you have similar doubt in moments of opportunity, then I encourage you to listen to these words, because the reality is that if we do nothing, it will not be until 75 years later, or nearly 100 for me, before all women can expect to receive these rights. 15.5 million girls will be married in the next 16 years as children, and it will not be until 2086 before all rural African girls can expect to receive a secondary education. If you believe in equality, then you might be one of those inadvertent feminists that I spoke of earlier, and for this I applaud you. We are struggling for a united word, but the good news is that we have a uniting movement, and it is called He for She. I'm inviting you to step forward and to be seen, and to ask yourself, if not me, who? If not now,